The forest held the secrets of my past. Every rustling leaf whispers the hidden darkness waiting for the veil to open, an ugly truth I could not escape. I do not know where I will start my horrific and heartbreaking story. My family and friends call me Jessiel, some just Sil. I grew up with a very strict father. My mom died when I was a baby. Dad is always around me wherever I go. My dad always dropped me to school and picked me afterwards. He has been doing that since nursery. Dad loved me so much, and I love him too. When I turned 15, I made friends at school. They were like my sisters. This is the time I got my rebellion with Dad because of his overprotectiveness. When I confronted him about this, he just calmly answered that someday I will understand him. He raised me to be purely vegetarian, strictly no meat. One day before Halloween, my 5 friends and I agreed to go on a secret dare challenge. We just found out that spirits and demonic presence are strongest during Halloween, so we agreed to go on a ghost hunt to the famous haunted forest 3 kilometers away from our town. We all gather at the haunted forest at midnight. The forest is known for all the horror stories in our town, and we want to document it on our own. I hide it from Dad. That night, when Dad slept, I slowly crept into our house and got my friend's car, which was waiting outside the house. I feel so nervous, and I feel my heart is about to explode. The moon is so bright since it is a full moon. When we arrive at the forest entrance, you can immediately sense the feeling of being watched, and our skin develops ghost bumps. You can feel the cold wind and hear the howling of the dogs. We set all our equipment and get inside the haunted forest. My friend, Amanda, holds the camera, and the rest of us hold our own flashlights. Every walk and every turn in that forest becomes even more scary. When we reach the middle of the forest, we find a tomb that says, "The monster is dead." That area alone is the scariest part. Amanda saw in her camera that there is something bright kept on passing behind me. Then we heard a shrieking scream of a woman behind us. All of us got scared and we ran as fast as we could. Due to panic, we got separated from each other. Me and Amanda were together. Amanda has fallen badly on the hillside of the forest. She bleeds so heavily because of the large laceration on her legs, and her camera broke from that accident. Now it is only me and Amanda. I tried to help her, but I got distracted with the smell of her blood. Then my memory went blank. The next thing I knew, I woke up in the forest. It is already broad daylight. Beside me is the dead body of my friend Amanda, who was brutally and inhumanely killed by a beast. While I was covered with blood, I thought I suffered some injuries because my clothes are stained with blood. I shouted with extreme fear. From a distance, I heard some people kept on calling, "Hello?" I heard them calling, but I kept on shouting to the top of my lungs until they found me. Later that day, Dad arrived at the entrance of the forest. They put me inside the ambulance for treatment. They said I have been traumatized. Then I found out all of my friends are dead. They were killed the same. Blood is lost and there are no internal organs. In disbelief and horror, I cried so hard. Dad hugged me to comfort me. Dad kept on crying while hugging me, and he kept on saying sorry to me because he failed as a father. He failed in protecting me. What happened in that forest became a major headline to our news. 5 girls brutally eaten alive inside the haunted forest. Beware, the monster is back. Dad then turns off the television. 3 months after the forest incident, news released that the monster who is responsible for all the killings in the forest, the baby and pregnant women in the far town, is called a Krasue. Yes, after the forest killing, more beastly killings were reported. They even have a camera footage of a head with only internal organs flying in the sky. The news anchor advised the viewers to keep safe and keep the windows locked to prevent the Krasue attack. Then, there is this group of men. They call themselves the Krasue Hunters. They are given the task by the government to hunt and kill the Krasue creature. One night when Dad and I eat dinner together, I told him the nightmares I experienced in the past months. I told him that in my dreams, I chased people and ate people. The more my victim screams, the more my hunger strikes. I can still taste the taste of the blood and flesh in my mouth as I share it with Dad. Then additionally, I told him that I can still hear the crunch of the bones in every bite I took. It was super creepy, and there was morning. I woke up covered with blood. Dad cried and told me that it was all his fault. I do not understand why he would blame himself. Then Dad revealed my true identity. It is like he opens a dark veil of Pandora box. My heart sank when he told me that my mom was a Krasue, and the Krasue blood is only passed on to daughters. When Dad met my mom, it was love at first sight. I got the same liveliness and beauty as Mom. I like her spitting image. He found out one night when Mom and Dad were having a sleepover at Dad's house. To his horror, when he tried to reach Mom on the other side of the bed, he thought that Mom was eaten by a monster. But as he was about to run and ask for help, Mom's head arrived in their room, and in front of him, he witnessed Mom's head was attached to her body again. Dad passed out due to horror. When he woke up, he saw Mom beside him trying to comfort him. But even though he knew she is a Krasue, he still loved Mom very much. They got married, and after a few months, Mom got pregnant with me. Everything was happy at first, but not for long. Everything returned to horror 1 month after giving birth to me. Mom became a Krasue again, and because of childbirth, her power and hunger for human flesh intensifies. Mom was caught eating a pregnant woman in the next town, and they followed her until in the forest. That is where Mom's life ended. They captured her head and shot her with all their might. That's the tomb I found in the middle of the haunted forest. He learned from the old shaman that only women carried the Krasue blood, and it only fully developed once they were able to drink and eat human blood and flesh. That is why Dad was so overprotective of me, and even tried to avoid meat by putting me into a strict vegetarian diet. I understand Dad now. After learning that I am a fully developed Krasue, he is scared that the people will kill me, or the Krasue hunters will hunt me like they did with my mom. Me, being a monster, a demon who enjoys the meat of the innocent, now hides somewhere in this dark forest to keep myself safe from any human trying to hunt and kill me. I would like to remind you that I am still alive and hungry. Keep your windows close at night. Keep your children and pregnant wife close. They are my favorite. Their cry and screams excite me even further. The louder, the hungrier I become. I am Jessiel, a Krasue, a demon's instrument of darkness, and your new nightmare.